Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to have a difficult conversation. I think that Bitcoin could be retesting the lows before we go ahead and put in a brand new all-time high. And in today's video, I'll be talking about exactly this. When most of the market starts shifting long, it's time to pay attention. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. First and foremost, if you're new to the channel, just know that I have been vocally bullish on this Bitcoin price action. Now, I actually entered a long near the lows. We secured around $25,000 in profit, and it's currently sitting at just under $12,000 in unrealized profit. I also had some altcoin trades open, which you can see we're currently sitting in some very, very nice profits across the board. That includes Fartcoin, XRP, Tau, and ENA. These are all trades that were shared in my free Telegram community. Remember, if you want to join that, that's the first link in my description down below. All you have to do is click this link and it'll bring you to my free Telegram. You DM me the word premium and I would be happy to onboard you. The only requirement is that you sign up with one of my affiliate exchange links, whether that's Bluffin or Weeks, and you start trading on there. Now, back to the charts. What do I think could be happening here? If you've been watching the channel, you know that my path has been up, down, up. That is currently what I think could be happening, and we're seeing the up that is still in progress. That being said, I think that down will be coming sooner than most people are expecting. We are seeing that the market overall is flipping a lot more bullish, and as you know, I am a contrarian. That is how I make most of my profits in this market, by counter trading most of crypto Twitter. So right now, overnight, Bitcoin hit around $116,000, depending on which exchange you're looking at, 116 to 116.2. This is a pretty significant wick, but it still wouldn't surprise me if we go ahead and trickle on higher. We have pretty key rejection zones up above. First of all, we have this Jackson Hole candle, which is right around 117.2K, but a little bit higher, just below $118,000. We have the point of control of this existing range. Now, it is entirely possible for Bitcoin to go up and grab some more upside liquidity before we reject. But as a general rule of thumb here, I was talking about getting a rejection within this zone, targeting the lows at around $107,000 before we go ahead and move higher towards the end of this bull market cycle. Now, I know that that might not be what you like to hear. A lot of people are starting to flip bullish since we bounced from these lows. But the thing is, a lot of people were also bearish near these lows, and that's when I went long. We tapped into the prior's range point of control, the bull market support band here, and of course, it was the bottom of the existing range. So it made sense to go long. Everyone was scared at these levels, but that's the period in time where you want to counter trade the market and go long. Now that we're at the top of this range, this is actually a pretty reasonable rejection zone in my book. Now, to be perfectly clear, this is not a call to go ahead and sell all of your spot bags. First of all, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just sharing with you how I am currently trading this market. I think that this could end up being a very, very nice short, targeting the bottom of the range, targeting 107, even potentially below 107 before we go ahead and make a brand new all-time high. The reason I say this is not just because of the lines on the chart, the point of control, but we also have the fact that we just about filled that CME gap. Look, if you look on the 1 hour time frame, it looks like we filled it, but on the 15-minute time frame, you can see that there's a little bit left to fill, right around $117,000. But most importantly here, I want you to pay attention to the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. Now, we talk about this on the channel all the time. When there are way more shorts in the market, that's the period in time where you want to be careful shorting the market, and you may want to flip long if we start to hit some very important confluence levels, which I just showed you on the chart that we did. Now, on the 1 day time frame, you can see that there is officially more cumulative long liquidation leverage, and same thing on the 7 day time frame, same thing on the 30-day time frame. Remember, I showed you this chart just last week, and there was 6 times more short liquidation leverage in the market than long liquidation leverage in the market. Well, that's when I was going long. Right now, you can see that the tides have officially turned, and on the left here, there's around 15 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. On the right here, there's around 10 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage. Now, I don't want you to get it twisted. This doesn't mean that we just immediately dump, but what it does mean is as Bitcoin continues to trickle on up, which we were expecting, most of the market starts flipping long. And as long as we don't actually break out of this range, it seems more than likely, in my opinion, that within this zone, we get a rejection. Maybe we bait a couple more longs, we trickle on higher, and then we get rejected somewhere around these levels. Now, I will be building out a short position. I know that sounds scary, but remember, I have my spot positioning in case the market continues to go up, and I also have my long exposure, which I showed you at the beginning of the video. I will gradually be entering a short position, targeting near the lows, and that's likely what's going to send us, in my opinion, to a new high, the last leg of this bull market cycle. And it's around this area here, if Bitcoin is to make it down here, I would actually consider starting to buy some altcoins. Yes, you heard that right, because right now I'm only holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's see how it plays out. Right now, my base case is that Bitcoin can chop around this region. We're sitting at around $115,000, but ultimately, this isn't the worst trade setup in the world if you were to enter right here. The reason I say this is because if your stop is above the point of control, which is just above $118,000, and you target the lows here, that is almost a 2.5 risk to reward trade, give or take. So right now, I think that it is likely that we can chop around and potentially head lower before we head higher. Hence what I've been talking about. Up, down, up. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, and I'm trying to balance between trading videos and spot portfolio videos. But right now, because I think that we could see another movement downwards, since this wasn't an impulsive move from the lows, I still think that it is likely that I will have better opportunities to accumulate spot with some of my Bitcoin. And that also brings up the topic of Bitcoin dominance. I still don't think the Bitcoin dominance rally is done, as we've been covering on the channel. I think that it's more than likely that we hold support right around here, and then we continue to chop up at the bare minimum back above 60%, but it's highly likely that we maybe make a test of these highs, maybe slightly lower for a lower high, and then we go ahead and capitulate into the bear market. I still think that there's time for us to go lower before we go higher for the Bitcoin price action. And again, just to reiterate, yes, I am in my long positions, but I'm just sharing with you exactly how I'm thinking, how I'm going to be trading this market if I get the opportunity to do so. That reminds me, if you want to know my exact trade setups, remember you have the first link in my description down below, where I'm happy to onboard you into my free premium Telegram community. The thing with my community, as I've always said, is that it's my own personal trade setups. So if I lose money, well, I'm held accountable. And if we win money, well, we likely win money together. So if that sounds interesting to you, you have the first link in my description down below. Now back to the charts. I wanted to show you this updated Bitcoin chart, which you can see we grabbed this high, and right now this Jackson Hole high is still currently in progress. There's a chance that we don't make it all the way up there, but as I said, I am starting to ever so slightly build out a short position into FOMC. I think that FOMC, if we get a 25 basis point rate cut, which would be next Wednesday, September 17th, would be a potential sell the news event. Now, if we go ahead and get a 50 basis point rate cut, which you can see there's currently only a 7.5% chance of that happening, then I think it would be a massive surprise and the market would likely explode to the upside, and I would be proven wrong here with Bitcoin making a brand new all-time high. But right now, the odds are a 25 basis point rate cut. And that sums up today's video. From a trading perspective, you now know how I'm thinking, but from a spot perspective, don't worry, I have not sold a single thing, and I still think that we see another leg higher. Whether that comes with a low and then a high, or whether we just decide to rip up from here. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.